What's up, fam? I just wanted to highlight this specific video because I can definitely relate to it, coming from a military background. What am I talking about, Lord? Let me know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the stigma of military families and couples and marriages and stuff like that. But one thing I will say is that just know that majority of the time, 99.9%, is either the husband or the wife that's going around town and taking turns with different men's and women's while their significant other is deployed. And it sucks. It really does. Because you know that person is never coming the hell back home. And then that's why half of the, military families end up in divorce, sadly. But this lady right here went the hell off. She basically gave her 2 cents on somebody accusing her of sleeping with her husband because, they're all military. And she made some valid points. Take a look.
Somebody's wife just texted me and asked me, am I sleeping with her husband? Now she sends me a message and she says that we were in the same company and his name is Low. And I'm like, I don't know no Low. I don't know no Low, baby. I ain't never heard of no Low before, so your husband is lying. And she sends me a picture. I do know who the fuck that is. He did work in the same company when I was in, but that dude has never spoken to me and I have never spoken to him. Literally has never uttered a word to me ever. But his wife is sending me the messages of him telling his friends that he slept with me. Like he's sending in my Instagram saying, yeah, this her, woo woo woo. I'm telling his wife, look, I ain't never even spoke to your husband before. I don't know why he out here lying. I never slept with your husband, babe. Not only was he saying that he slept with me, but he said that he was sleeping with one of his NCOs. I was asking a wife, like, do you know what the NCO looked like? But I kind of already had an idea on who it was because this specific NCO, he was under investigation for sleeping with soldiers. Miss Jasmine Fry. Yeah, she was under investigation for sleeping with soldiers. So I'm not sure if it's true or not, if he slept with her, because he lied about sleeping with me. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I do know that Jasmine Fry, Sergeant Jasmine Fry, she was under investigation for sleeping with soldiers. Not only that, she was pregnant. She's also married, but that's neither here nor there. But this man is 28 years old with a wife and 2 kids. He's choosing to live in a barracks so he can continue to cheat on his wife. She said that he just had a 20-year-old girl up in his barracks room. All of this is alleged. I'm just going based off what the wife is telling me. Stuff like this happen all the time in the military, y'all. If you're a civilian, stuff like this literally happens like every day. But yeah, hopefully, she can get to the bottom of it. And hopefully he gets reprimanded.
Ooh-wee, honey, that was a lot of messy tea. Wasn't that messy? Boy, let me tell you something. When she said, allegedly, I think half of that stuff that she was saying was true. First of all, the nerve of the man who was accused of cheating from his wife had the audacity to share this woman's photo with his wife, like as if he's been messing with her since day one. She recognized the man, but she clearly said in the video she never talked a day in her life to that man, never slept with him. I believe her, because half of these soldiers and other military personnel love to cheat. It's a real thing. And it's awful because it's like the new normal for them. I don't know. They get excited. They get off on, having onesies and twosies and threesies with different folks, especially in the barracks. Because when she said he was staying on the barracks on post and having women up in his room, that just told me everything I needed to know. Because anybody, and anybody, especially if you're from a military background like me, that's up in the barracks and they're a sergeant, baby, they chose to stay on post for a reason, to cheat. It's an easy way to have a fancy hotel, even though it's a barracks room, They don't pay rent, so why not? Yeah, newsflash, in case you didn't know that, military personnel live rent-free on the military base. They don't pay rent. The only way that they have to pay rent is if they're not in the barracks. If it's like military housing, like if they actually live in a house, but it's military affiliated housing, then they pay rent. But if they're actually in the barracks, that's free. You don't pay a dime. That's why a lot of them love to stay on post, because they know it's free rent. But yeah, free rent, free punani. Why not? And I said, that's a damn shame, because, it's just like happy wife, happy life, and then you want to be a home wrecker and break up your own marriage, then blame other people for your fuck ups. I don't get it. It's just, my thing is this: if you're not happy, leave. The door's over there. Sign the divorce papers and move on. Don't string women along and play this wild goose chase of, oh, I slept with this person and this person, but yet the man has 2 kids, grown as hell, damn near 30, a wife, and yet he still chooses to stay on post. That's what got my attention. It wasn't the fact that he was a habitual cheater. It was the fact that he decided to stay on the military base, even though he has a wife and 2 kids. It's sad. I've actually witnessed several similar situations as far as, military spouses cheating on each other, getting reprimanded, like she said in the video. What they get is called an Article 15. Adultery is a very serious charge in the military. You can actually get kicked out for adultery. In case you didn't know, now you know. So this is why I stress the importance of you either deal with it or you leave them, because the minute the military finds out that you're messing around on your spouse and you have kids involved, they're going to make sure they're going to punish your ass. They're going to make sure you pay child support, alimony, all the above. And they're going to make sure that they fight for custody. Because I'm going to tell you one thing about the military: they're all for the women. They're not for the man. They will happily tear apart a man, especially a black man, and they will make sure that that wife gets everything that she needs. Seriously, they will, because it's not like the civilian world. In the civilian world, people, lay around and cheat all the time, but they don't get reprimanded. They don't get punished. They don't have to worry about going before a military court to say who gets custody of their children because they cheated and it's this and this and that. They don't have to worry about that in the civilian world. Civilian world, you go get divorced, you go to divorce court, that's it. No harm, no foul, nobody goes to jail, nobody gets charged. Military court, somebody's getting charged for adultery. Someone's getting kicked the hell out. You just lost all your benefits. You lost your honorable discharge. Now you can't get VA benefits. People don't understand the consequences behind all of this. You can have your cake and eat it too if you want to, but it comes at a risk. That's what people don't get. And as a 42 Alpha, aka Human Resources Specialist, that was my MOS in the Army, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people come in the office crying, begging their commander not to take away their money, their rank, not to kick them out or give them Article 15 because they didn't want wifey to find out that they've been messing around and they got a whole baby on the way with a whole nother soldier. I've seen it so many times. It's really sad. Even in my unit, when I was stationed in Fort Bliss, aka Fort Piss, aka El Paso, Texas, I've actually seen a staff sergeant, a white man, I think he was white or a Puerto Rican, messing with a young white girl. She had to be every bit of like maybe 21, 22. And ended up messing around so bad to the point where he popped out twins with her, had a whole wife and 3 kids of his own already. And boy, when that wife found out that he had popped out babies with the other girl, they both got kicked the hell out. No VA benefits, nothing. Dishonorable discharge, everything just screwed up. All because they decided to mess around and have their cake and eat it too. Clear example. Clear example. Sad. But they do that all the time. That is a normal in the military lifestyle, you know. That's why I try to forewarn people before they decide to join to sign that dotted line. Just know what you're getting yourself into, and just know that everybody is a habitual liar, cheater, offender, etc., all the above. Not saying this pertains to everyone joining. You know, everyone has their differences and their whys on why they want to sign up and serve the country. But at the end of the day, just know you're going to bump into some very, very bad people that do this all the time and don't bat an eye about it. But yeah, it's a real epidemic, and it's really ghetto in my opinion. But they glorify it. They don't care. That's what people don't understand. Folks, they don't care. They think it's a game. And it's real life. You're playing with people's emotions, you're playing with people's lives, and you don't realize how much it affects you until kids are involved. And then it's a problem. But when kids aren't involved, it's not so bad, so they say. And this is why a lot of men and women that come out of the military are emotionally damaged because of that. You know, divorce rates are high, you know, and most of the time, sometimes if the men ain't messing around with other women, or vice versa, the women messing around with other men, it's the complete opposite, what you would least expect. I've actually seen grown ass men leave their wives behind for another grown ass man. Yes. DL is a very huge epidemic in the military community. You don't hear much about it, but it's very real. I've seen it. Women, same thing. Leave their whole man for a whole nother woman. Kids and all, and still leaving them. It is insane. The stories I hear all the time. It's nuts. But yeah, y'all let me know y'all's thoughts in the comment. And let me know if you can relate to this, if you have some type of military background, or if you have any crazy stories, I'm willing to hear.